Hi, this is Stefanie. Today I want to discuss with you menstruational issues, something a lot of women ask me about, and today I want to show you a short sequence what you can do for a natural quick fix. I have a long sequence, a long yin yoga sequence in my book, Be Healthy with Yin Yoga. If you want to check that out, that will be released in 2019 with lots of information on the topic. But now I want to show you something when you don't have that much time. As you might know, Yin Yoga has a background in traditional Chinese medicine, also called TCM. And when you have menstruational pain, for example, the causes are often in the liver, stomach, and spleen. You cannot say that for everybody because everybody's different, and you should check out a therapist who can see what's the case for you. But you will definitely not do any harm when you treat these meridians. And that's what I want to do in the following short sequence. And in the end, I will show you an awesome acupressure point which will help you to relieve any menstruational pain. Let's get started with the pose Dragon. For Dragon, you put your hands and knees to the floor, and from here you put your right leg up in front. The left knee is on the floor, and then you let the pelvis sink to the floor or to the mat. If you are sensitive in the knees, then you can just put something underneath, maybe a blanket or a pillow. And try to get passive in the pose. You have the option to regulate the stretch, the intensity of the stretch. If this is too much, then you just pull the knee a little bit closer. And if you want to have a little bit more of a stretch, you put it back a little bit more. And what you want to do here is to stretch the stomach and spleen meridian in the thighs, and also to stretch the psoas muscle. And that's also a theory that if you sit a lot and it gets all tight in there, that this can lead to cramps during menstruation. So it's a good idea to always open that up again. You can leave your hands here on the left and right side of the foot, or you can put both hands on the inside of the foot, especially if you feel that it's getting too hard to hold, because this is one of the more active poses in Yin Yoga. It's really hard to relax over and over again because maybe you just feel that you are starting to tense up after a while. Then it's probably a good idea to just switch it a little bit, that you put the hands on the inside, for example, or you can come down on your arms, or you can also come up and put the hands on the thigh. If you lean back, you also have more of a stretch in the upper body, and that's also where the stomach and spleen meridians run along. Try to breathe all natural, so you can totally relax into the pose. Switch sides now. Come out very, very slowly. Pull the leg back, and you can either come into child's pose for a moment, or you can come into downward facing dog. Either you stay here, or you move your legs a little bit. And then you switch sides. Now you bring the other leg up in front, the left leg. and the right knee goes down to the floor. You let the pelvis melt again. Remember, you can regulate the intensity of the stretch by either pulling the knee up in front a little bit more or pushing it back a little bit more, depending on the intensity of the stretch you would like to have. If your arms are too short, you can also just put 2 blocks underneath your hands. That makes it also easier to relax into the pose for a lot of people. Remember, you can also take another variation. For me, when I put my hands on the inside of the foot, my bent leg naturally goes out to the side a little bit. And that's totally okay to let that happen. It's not like in Yang Yoga when you try to pull it back inside again with your muscles. You can just leave it the way it is. For me, that actually gives me an extra stretch on the inner liver meridian here on the inside of the thigh. You could also come down into gecko pose on your arms. Or for a little bit more of a stretch for the spleen and stomach meridian, you can also come up here. And then you come slowly out of the pose again. Either downward facing dog again for a few breaths. Or you come straight into child's pose. Some people like to leave the legs together when they come down into child's pose. Some people want to put their fists here so they don't come down too deep. For some people it's the hands. Some people want to open the legs. Just find out which one is the right one for you. Relax here for a moment. The next pose we're going to do is dragonfly. It's great if you have a bolster at hand. If you don't, you can just take a rolled up blanket or maybe a couple of pillows. And then you open your legs to the sides so that you feel a nice stretch on the insides of the thighs. It shouldn't be too much, just about 70% of what you can tolerate, and that gives you more room, more possibility here to dive into the posture a little bit more. If you have a bolster at hand, you can pull it up close to your belly. So when you lean forward, you have a nice soft belly massage. If that doesn't feel comfortable for you, you can just leave some space between your belly and the bolster. If you cannot lean forward that much, you can also put some more props on top of the bolster, maybe blocks or a blanket, pillows, so you can bend down. If you're not very flexible, you can also put the bolster up like this and just put your forehead on the bolster. And then you relax into the pose. And this time the focus is more on the liver meridian, also on the kidney and bladder meridian. And you relax your feet in the pose. If the stretch in the legs is too intense for you, you can just put the legs a little bit closer again, or you can also bend the knees a little bit. You could put some 2 small rolled up blankets underneath the knees, or just bend them like that a little bit. And if you have the bolster right in front of your belly, then you can combine that with your breath. Just try to breathe a little bit deeper so you have an extra massage here in the lower belly. You can close your eyes anytime. Ease into the pose more and more. You can also put your head to the side if that feels better for you. Just remember to switch sides if you have the head on the side of the bolster. You can always stay longer in the poses or shorter, whatever feels good for you. If you want to stay longer, just push the pause button on the video. And if it feels right for you, then slowly come out of the pose again. Put the bolster or the props aside and slowly close the legs again and come on your back for a moment to feel the effect of the pose. Relax on your back and feel the energy in your body. If you're ready, you can come up again for the last pose, which is supine butterfly. You can take the bolster again, you can take 2 blocks, for example, one under the head and one under the thoracic spine. Personally, I like to use a blanket also for the head, so the cervical spine can relax even more. And then I sit in front of the bolster, put the feet together, the soles of the feet together, and I let the knees drop to the sides. I like to have a little bit of space here in between my back and the bolster. Some people like to come right up in front or touch the bolster, just see what's good for you. And then you lean back. You have different options. If you have menstrual pain, for example, then it probably feels good to just put your hands here on your lower belly and bring extra energy to that area of your body. You can also imagine light going through your hands into your lower body. Or if you like to have an extra stretch on the front of the upper body, you can also put the arms back next to your head or down to the sides. The focus is now on the liver and kidney meridian in the legs and the stomach and spleen meridian in the upper body. And when you're in the pose, take the time to reflect how you treat yourself during menstruation. A lot of women in the West have a lot of pressure. For example, they have to go to work or they have to take care of the children, and they don't have very much time to take good care of themselves. And in other nations, it is oftentimes like that women have like a timeout when they have their menstruation, that they take more time for themselves and really take time to nourish the body, and just try to do that a little bit more for yourself when you have your menstruation, when you're on your cycle. I know it's hard to do when you're busy, but take a few minutes every day at least to really feel into your body, to see what you really need. And oftentimes things even get better just by doing that. To get in touch with your soul, to check if you're still on the right path in your life. Whenever you're ready, you close the legs again, activate the pelvic floor before you come up again, and then you put the props to the side. And come back to the mat again for resting pose. For resting pose, you put the feet a little bit wider or almost as wide as the mat, and your knees can touch here. You put your hands into prayer position and let your thumbs touch your sixth chakra here. And that can have a very relaxing effect mentally and also physically. And from here you come into a little Shavasana. Please don't skip Shavasana, also you don't have much time. Allow yourself at least 1 or 2 minutes to stay here in that pose. To harmonize the chi in your body, the flow of chi. And imagine now how the chi is all over your body. That's a very subtle energy. You can try to feel where you have the most chi, where you can feel it the most, and where you cannot feel it as much. And then try to harmonize it by letting it flow through all of your body. Your breath flows in and out just naturally. And you become totally still. You can always stay longer, but if you want to come back up again, then you start to move your hands and your feet again and stretch your body one more time. And then you can come back up again. Like I said, I still have another great tip for you, and that is an acupressure point I want to show you. It is actually a pain point, and that is large intestine 4. You can find that point when you take your hand and you trace like an L between your index finger and the thumb. And then you come into that fleshy part in between that L and try to find a sensitive spot there, either sensitive or very tender. I always do it with both fingers, with my index finger and with my thumb. And this way I can find it really easily. And when you find that point, you can either just hold it. Some people also like to draw little circles. Just trust your intuition, what feels right for you there. And then you can hold it 60 to 90 seconds before you switch sides. You can also do that on the other side, then trace the L again. Find the tender or sensitive spot here in the fleshy part, and then you press or draw little circles. That's an awesome point if you have pain in the body. You can use that for menstrual pain, but also for any other kind of pain. Just give that a try. And if you do tend to have menstrual cramps, then also make sure that you have enough magnesium in your nutrition. Not necessarily by taking pills, but it would be better if you have that in your food. For example, dark green veggies, oats, dark chocolate, nuts, seeds, and lots of healthy stuff. That would be a lot better if you took that instead of pills or a supplement. Okay, that's it for now. If you like these kind of videos, then please give me a thumbs up or a comment below the video, or subscribe to the channel, and then I'll see you again next time. Thank you and namaste.